Hello everybody, welcome back to April's on a Budget. I'm April and today I'm not cash stuffing. Okay, so, smoky. Okay, so this is the thing. Several months ago, I started seeing that 30 questions thing going around the budgeting community, but it didn't grab any weight. I saw a couple of people do it and then it just kind of fizzled out and I haven't seen anybody do it since. And I thought, you know what? I hope nobody ever tags me in one of these videos because I wouldn't have the first clue what I would do with my hands while I'm answering these questions. And then today I was sitting there and I have to cut all of these envelopes and there are 90 of them. And I thought, oh Lord, I'm going to be at this till 1 o'clock in the morning. I should be doing something. And then I thought of the 30 questions and I thought, I know, I will do the 30 questions while I cut envelopes. And then my hands aren't sitting here idle doing nothing. So I'll get started. This is not a tutorial, by the way. These have already been pre-cut and laminated once. They still have to go through the laminator one more time, but now I have to cut them all first before they go through the laminator for the second time. So I just thought I would do this while I answer the 30 questions. All right, so first question, how old are you? Funny you should ask. I know you didn't, but I'm gonna answer anyway because in the last video I made, I said I was 50 and the fact is I am not 50. Oh, okay, I gotta make sure I'm doing this the right way though, because if I mess up, I have to reprint and that would really suck. I said I was 50, but I'm not actually 50. I'm 51. I keep forgetting that. So anyway, yeah, so I'm 51, just turned. Number 2, what would be on your perfect slice of pizza? Well, I can't eat tomato sauce because I get something called esophageal spasms. And then I have to go to the hospital and they have to give me this pink drink that consists of a tranquilizer and Pepto-Bismol, I think. So I can't have tomato sauce. So I, generally speaking, have chicken bacon with ranch dressing. So that is what I have on my pizza. Number 3, if you could only eat one thing, what would it be? Oh my. Okay, well, that changes for me. I go through spurts. So like for instance, all last year, I swear just about every day for the entire year, I ate chicken cordon bleu. So for those who don't know, that is stuffed chicken. It's breaded chicken breast stuffed with Swiss and ham. So I ate that just about every day for a year because that's what I do. I'm very weird that way. Right now I'm on avocado and bacon on toast. So I have that probably, I can't have it every day, but I do have it at least 2 to 3 times a week. So right now it would be avocado with bacon on toast, but that could change in a week. So you never know. How many children do you have? I have 3 children. They are very spread out in age. My eldest daughter is 32. My middle child, who is a boy, his name is Andrew. My eldest daughter is Samantha. My middle is a boy. His name is Andrew, and he is 22, so he's 10 years younger than his sister. And then I have Abigail, who is only 8, and she is 24 years younger than her sister. So my kids are very spread out, but I just have 3. I was actually hoping that my second husband would come with a bunch of children because I really wanted to have lots and lots and lots of kids. And so I was hoping that my, if I ever got married again, it would be to somebody who had 3 or 4 kids, but that wasn't to be. Tyson didn't have any, so we just have Abby together. Okay, so next question. What was the worst movie you've ever seen? Oh, Lord. There's been a lot of them. I'm pretty picky when it comes to movies. First of all, I don't watch that many now, but I did in my younger years. I would have to say, well, I hate any stupid comedy, first of all. So any comedy that's like an intentional comedy. No, not intentional comedy, but anything where people are, there's like people who are just naturally funny, like Robin Williams, naturally funny. And then there's people who have to try really hard to be funny. And it's just stupid. So yeah, stupid comedies. Any stupid comedy I don't like. But every time I think of a movie I hated, and many people I'm sure will disagree with this, it would be Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I hated that movie, and I'm a huge Johnny Depp fan. And yeah, that movie absolutely sucked. That was a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. How often do you listen to music? Not at all. When I was younger, I used to listen to music a lot. I mean, a lot. And then, when I started suffering from anxiety, and this is going back to, about, I guess, 17 years ago, is when I had my very first big anxiety attack, like big. Since then, I struggle with listening to music. I really, really struggle. It sets off my anxiety. If I hear music that has like, especially today's music, because it's that constant boom, 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 boom. And I know it makes me sound like I'm 80 years old when I say that, but anything that has like a steady, constant drumming sound, honestly, just sets my hair on end. I can't handle it, and it will just put me over the edge. So I don't listen to a lot of music for that reason. And if I do, it's like ballads. It's never like pop music or anything like that. Can't handle it. Used to be able to, used to love it, but yeah, going to bars or going to any kind of a social thing, even sitting in a restaurant, if the music is really loud, it absolutely drives me insane. When me and Tyson are in the car, the first thing I do when I get in his car is turn the radio off, because it just sets my skin on edge. I can't even explain it, but yeah, that's a big thing for me. So no, I don't really listen to music, not at all. Whoops, oh, almost messed that up. Pay attention, April. Okay, so when was the last time you cried? I cry a lot. And it's funny because I used to think I cry too often, and then I started watching some of these videos of other people who make the 30 questions video, and it turns out I'm pretty normal. I wouldn't say I cry every day, but I would say I probably cry at least a few times a week. Couldn't really tell you why. I'm not a sad person, but it doesn't take much. I was never a crier. Very rarely cried, in fact. And then when my granddaughter was born, that was probably one of the first times that I, not in the midst of an anxiety attack, lost control of my emotions. So I've always kind of been the one that people come to, my family, friends, that sort of thing, for the, sturdy support, because I could keep it together when nobody else could. But when my granddaughter was born, in that moment, I lost all control of myself and became a blubbering idiot. And I remember passing my granddaughter to my daughter for the first time, because I was coaching, so I was the first person who held her. And I remember handing her off to my daughter, and my daughter looking at me going like, "Mom, are you okay?" Like, she just had a baby, and she was like, "Mom, are you okay?" Because I just absolutely lost it. And since then, I can't make it through any kind of thing, especially involving kids. It can be a happy thing, a sad thing, perfect strangers, kid, dancing, that sort. I lose it. I cry all the time. So sometimes they're happy tears, sometimes they're sad tears, but yeah, I cry often. A couple times a week. Last time I cried, oh, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I can't remember. I'm sure it wasn't over anything important. Probably just some small little thing, some video I watched or something like that, that would have made me cry. Anyway, are you a morning person or a night person? I am definitely a morning person. So I get up every single day between 5 and 5:40. So I set my alarm for 5:40 because I have to take my son to work. But I usually wake up on my own before that. So, and I'm kind of like clockwork. So if it happens to be on a day that he doesn't work, so I don't have to wake up, I'll still wake up at like 5:42. And I've slept in 2 whole minutes. And I always am very active as soon as I wake up. It's just best time of day for me if I wake up and I don't have anything to do. So I just sit down and do nothing. I get very lazy and then I do nothing for the whole day. So, but when I wake up, that's when I'm most inclined to get up and do something productive. And once I start being productive, then I'm usually productive for the rest of the day. So yeah, morning person, definitely. Nighttime, 8 o'clock usually. I'm ready for bed. I can't wait till story time so I can read to Abby and then just go to bed as soon as she goes to bed. I say this while I'm sitting here at 10 o'clock at night doing this, but typically I'm definitely a morning person. Cooking or eat out? Oh, I'm big fan of eating out. I hate cooking. I really hate cooking. I don't know why I hate cooking. I just do. I prefer homemade food, but I prefer not to be the one that has to cook it. I do cook, but only out of financial necessity, not because I enjoy it. How many languages can you speak? 1. I speak English only, fluently. I can speak a little bit of French. I can understand French. So somebody speaks to me in French, or especially if there's something in writing in French, I can read it and tell you exactly what it says, like interpret it, just because I can make out every, second or third word. But could I hold a conversation in French? Definitely not. But that would be about it. And I also know a lot of sign language as well. Yeah, but not enough to get by. No, I know enough to get by, but not enough to like carry on a full conversation. But if I was to meet somebody who was deaf, I could probably understand what they were saying to me if they were speaking in sign. Foods you dislike? Anything green? Well, except for avocado. I've only recently discovered avocado, and I love it, but pretty much anything green I don't like. I don't like Brussels sprouts, green beans, cabbage. I hate cooked cabbage. It's probably my least favorite food is cooked cabbage. Yeah, I don't like green. There's a few that I don't mind. Asparagus. I don't mind asparagus. But yeah, green food. I don't like it. Where am I? Favorite film? Oh, geez, there's so many. I'm old school and I don't watch a lot of current stuff. So I would have to say anything with Tom Hanks and anything Julia Roberts, because I love just about every film both of them are in. Or either one of them, I should say, is in. But favorite all-time film? Maybe Apollo 13. I was a really... Oh, and Dante's Peak. I love Dante's Peak. That's Pierce Brosnan, in case you didn't know. Love that movie. Where were you born? I was born here. I was born in Winnipeg. I was only, I think a few months old, under a year, when my parents moved away. And then the younger part of my life, I was raised in Alberta. And then when I was very young, I think 8 maybe, we moved to Nova Scotia. And then I lived in Nova Scotia for a few years, and then we moved back here. And then I've been here in Winnipeg. Well, I'm not here. Winnipeg. I don't live in Winnipeg now. I live in Manitoba, very close to Winnipeg, but not in Winnipeg. Yeah, so then I've been here. I moved away a couple times and back, but I always wind up back here. And now I'll never leave because this is where my kids are. So now I'm stuck here for life. I hate it here, but it's where I live. Oh, it's hard to remember where I'm at. I should be crossing these off as I go. Where were you born? Oh, actor, actress, crush. Actor, actress, crush. That's a tough question. Oh, Bon Jovi acted. I'll say Bon Jovi. He's acted in a few things. Oh, Matt Damon. Oh, duh. Yeah, Matt Damon. I would have to say Matt Damon. Love Matt Damon. Yeah, Matt Damon. I have to think about it, but yeah. What annoying habit do you have? Oh my gosh, I have so many annoying habits. Okay, well, I say way too much. Even for Canadian, I say it way too much. I say right, wait, oh, that didn't cut. I wonder why. I say right way too much. I say so. So there's that. I am a bit of a know-it-all. So I pretty much will quite often give my opinion when it's not asked for, which I don't find annoying, but I'm sure other people do. Yeah, but I think I don't know. I have a lot of really annoying habits. First of all, I don't really have a filter. I'm not someone who's a private person. So I will just tell you my life story in 5 seconds flat. So I'm sure that's annoying for a lot of people. I'm a bit of an overachiever in the workplace, which makes me, you know, what they call a brown noser or a keener. So I'm sure that annoys a lot of people. Yeah, I have quite a few annoying habits. Are you afraid of spiders? Deathly. I mean, deathly. Never used to be. But this house is a very old farmhouse, and I have been surprised by more spiders than I can tell you. And so over the last 10 years, my fear of spiders has turned into an absolute, just complete arachnophobia, where I will just lose my shit when I see a spider. And I try hard not to, because it's made Abby terrified of spiders, because when I see one, I literally scream and hyperventilate and go running across the house, making a big, huge scene. And it, of course, has made her terrified of spiders, because it makes her believe there's something to be afraid of. When, you know, when I'm not being irrational, I know that spiders are harmless. But in the moment, I don't remember that. And I absolutely lose my shit every time I see one. Like, I absolutely freak out. So, yes. Earliest memory. Do you remember those, it was a red and blue ball that Avon used to sell that had yellow shapes that you would stick into the sides of it? It had like a yellow handle on top and one on the bottom, and you could pull it apart to pull all the shapes out, and then you put it back together, and then you drop all the shapes inside of it. Anyway, it was from Avon. My nanny, my grandmother, I'm from Nova Scotia, so we call our grandparents our grandmother nanny. So my nanny, she gave me one. I was 4, and that is my earliest memory. Earliest thing I can remember is her handing that to me when I was 4 years old. I don't know if I remember anything before that. I have other memories, like I remember a dog stepping on my face in the back of a pickup truck. I think I was 4 at that time. I remember getting stung by my very first bee or wasp. I was 3 or 4 at that time. But those times, I don't know how old I was exactly. I just know by where we were living about how old I was. But the Avon thing, I know I was 4 when my nanny gave me that. But so that's my earliest memory that I recall. Favorite season? Autumn. That one's an easy one. Favorite season is autumn. I love the fall. Oh, it's like a little beetle thing. I love the fall. I like the colors in the fall. I have a lot of trees in my yard, and I just love that in the fall there's not that many bugs. It's not overly cold or overly hot. It's kind of the same climate as spring, but it's not all wet and mucky here because we have so much snow in the wintertime. That when spring comes, the snow thaws, and we put down dirt on our roads for traction for vehicles, and then when the snow all starts to thaw, that becomes a muddy, mucky mess everywhere, and it just looks horrible and smells horrible. So the climate is the same, but spring is, or fall is just prettier, and there's no bugs, or less bugs. So the fall. Short or long hair? Medium. So my hair is long. It's always been long. Tyson won't let me cut it short. When I say that to people, they're always like, how do you let him tell you what to do? Well, I won't let him shave his goatee, and he respects that. So I don't mind that he likes it long, but sometimes, because I cut my own hair, I will let it get too long before I'll cut it, and sometimes that becomes a bit of a problem. But yeah, I prefer it kind of, I guess, about shoulder length would be my favorite way to wear it. Yeah, I also don't wear makeup or anything, so I don't think I would ever have it short, because I definitely look like a boy with short hair. But yeah, I would say shoulder length. So somewhere in the middle between long and short. All right, so next question. Last drink you had, coffee. Coffee is always my beverage of choice. It's what I drink day and night pretty much. I do sometimes switch to decaf, and then just a little bit before I go to bed, I will sometimes, well, not sometimes, every night before bed, I have a glass of milk that I take to bed with me. Yeah, so anyway, last drink I had was definitely coffee, which I'm still drinking, as a matter of fact. Oh God, look what I did. Oh, why did I do that? Now I have to redo that whole envelope, because I cut it right down to the white, and I'm not supposed to. I was supposed to cut it to the bubble because I'm not paying attention. That's okay. Did I do it to this one as well? Oh no, I haven't even done this one. Okay, must remember that I cut there. All right, that was pretty dumb. I'll make sure I'm doing this right before I move on. Yes, I am. Okay. All right. What piece of advice would you give to your younger self? Oh my God, live. Live. Don't be in such a hurry to grow up. I was in a big hurry. This needs to be laminated a second time, so I'm a little afraid to cut it. I was in a big hurry to grow up. I had my daughter very young. I was only 18 when she was born. And so I was in a big hurry to, well, not a big hurry. It was just kind of, you know, once you have a child, you have responsibilities. So yeah, I'm not going to cut that because I'm a little afraid. Anyway, so I had a child very young, and I wanted to go to university and ended up not going to university. And even later in life, when I had the opportunity, I let a man tell me not to go. Stupid. Don't ever do that, by the way. Yeah, so I would live my life. Now, in hindsight, when I think of traveling around the world and just that sort of opportunity to be able to go back in time and how easy that is. I say that to my son pretty often because, you know, he's at this moment, very lucky because he could do anything. I mean, you know, he's working full-time, he's young, basically the world is his oyster, and so I'm always saying, do something, like travel, like save your money, go travel, go places, and yeah, that's what I would do. I would live. I would definitely live, and not for partying, drinking, that sort of thing, but just so that when I get to the age of 50, I'm not looking back going, oh, I wish I had done this, or I wish I had done that, or yeah. So just don't be in a hurry to grow up. Don't be in a hurry to settle down and saddle yourself with a bunch of bills and responsibilities and all of that stuff. Live for a while first. Just take your time. So that's what I would tell myself. Don't be stupid. Don't go out and get pregnant at 18. Yeah, go to school, learn something, travel the world, make money, spend money, blow money, but experience life. That's what I would tell myself. Last book you read. Oh, geez. Last book I read. You know, I used to read a lot, like a lot. And I just don't anymore. I can't calm my mind long enough to read. Audiobooks, I do audiobooks. Does that count? But the last book I read, it would be a Nora Roberts book, I'm fairly sure. Oh no, Dear Canada. So that is a book series that is made for young, I don't want to say teens, but in that age range, I guess, where it basically tells of like the Titanic, like just world events, and the stories of people who've lived through those world events through the eyes of a female child. Anyway, I love those books. I love that whole series, always have. And so I think that it was one of those would be the last book I read. It was quite a long time ago, though. Oh, I keep letting this slip out of my hand when I'm doing this. Can't really go down to there because, oh, that's better. Okay. Eye color. My eye color is green. So when I was young, my eyes were blue. And then my mom used to always say to me, don't get used to it because they're going to turn green. And I didn't believe her. And then right around the time I hit puberty, well, maybe a little bit before that, my eyes turned gray. And then I really loved them because they were just such a smoky gray. And people would always be like, oh my God, I love your eyes. And my mom used to say, don't get used to it. They're going to turn green. And I didn't believe her. And then I turned into an adult. And slowly but surely, my eyes turned green. So they are green with gold flecks. And now my daughter, eldest, used to be like, oh, I love my eyes. Because she had exactly the same eye color I did as a child. They were blue with like bright blue with a dark blue trim right around the iris. And I used to say to her, don't get used to it because they're going to turn green. And then when she hit puberty, they turned gray. And I'd say, don't get used to it. And now her eyes are turning green. So she takes after her mama. I don't know yet about Abby, but so far it's looking like same thing's going to happen to Abby because she's got exactly the same color eyes. Because there's blue eyes and then there's blue eyes. It's like a very light blue with dark blue around the iris. And Abby has the same thing. So I think we're all just destined to have ugly green eyes. And they're not a pretty green. It's like a very ugly green. Anyway, so green. Favorite musician? Oh, hands down, Bon Jovi. No question. Love Bon Jovi. Always love Bon Jovi. Will always love Bon Jovi. I know. Stuck in the 80s. I know, but I don't care. I love Bon Jovi. And as a matter of fact, right before I started doing this video tonight, well, filming videos tonight, I watched a whole 4-part series on Disney Plus about Bon Jovi. Alright, oh, next page. Look at me flying through. Okay, so, favorite thing to do on a Friday night? Sleep. Typically speaking, my Monday to Sunday are exactly the same. Doesn't change. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is. I'm in bed as soon as Abby goes to bed. So as soon as she goes to bed at 8 o'clock, I go to bed at 8:15, 8:20. Just long enough to do the dishwasher, fold any laundry that needs to be folded, and then I'm off to bed. Because I'm a very early riser. And I work every weekend. So generally speaking, Friday specifically, I try to be in bed early. Except today. Oh, and also I film videos. A typical Friday night? Oh, favorite thing to do on a Friday? Yeah, sleep. It's just sleep. Do you have a pet? No, I have 3. I have 3 cats. They rule our house. We love our cats very much. I don't particularly like cats. I don't like other people's cats. But our cats, I get a lot of questions about our cats, so now I can tell you about it because I'm not really on a time limit. So our mother cat, so that's Miss Kitty, she was a feral cat who was just wandering around our property. And then one day, we kept seeing her, but we'd only catch a glimpse of her because as soon as we'd see her, she'd run away. And then one day we saw her, and we were driving down the road, and she was walking down the center of the road, so we were able to see her from behind. In previously, we could only catch a glimpse of her, and then she'd take off. But this was like we were able to get like a really good view of her, and we realized that her hip bones and all her bones were just jutting out. She was so skinny. And we were like, oh God, we have to do something about this cat because it's obviously clearly does not have a home. So I started going out. I tried to like get close to her, but I couldn't. She would just take off. So what I started doing was I started putting food out. So where our house is, our garage, so say our house is here, we have a big driveway area here, and then our garage is way over there. So we're quite the distance from our garage. So what I would do is I would put a bowl of food out in front of our garage door, and then I'd sit on the deck across the yard from her where she could see us, but far enough away that she felt safe. And then she would come out and she would eat the food, and then once the food was gone, she would leave. And then it got to the point, so I would do this every single day, and then I would just, after a while, she would start meowing as I was heading toward the garage to put the food out. She would be meowing from like under our camper or under our pump house. Like she'd be hiding, but she'd be meowing because she knew food was coming. And then I started staying outside with her. So I would sit on the deck and I would just talk to her while she was eating. I'd have to talk quite loud because was quite the distance away from her. And I would do this every single night. I would go out there, and then finally she started where she would come out and she would come and eat while I was sitting there talking. And so then I started moving the food dish closer and closer to our house. So I would move it by like a foot every single night, sometimes 2 feet. So I'd move it like just a couple feet closer, so she'd be forced to be a little bit closer to me. I'm talking like she was yards and yards, like I don't even know how far it is, maybe 30 yards away. Oh, I'm not good with distance, but something like that anyway. And yeah, so I started moving her closer and closer until I had the food right up on the deck, and I'd be sitting on the deck chair, and she'd come up and she'd be side-eyeing me, but she'd be eating. And then finally I sat on the ground, like on the deck, right on the deck with her. And then finally she let me reach out and pet her. And then during this time, this took weeks and weeks and weeks. And then I realized she was pregnant, that her sides were starting to swell. So I knew she was pregnant, and it was getting to be close to winter time. And I had no desire to own a cat, but I said to Tyson, like, we have to rescue this cat because I do not want, you know, 4 or 5 feral cats. I mean, if she gives birth, she's going to give birth here on the property, and then we're going to have a whole bunch of cats on the property. So I said, we're going to catch her, let her have the babies in the safety of our house, and then once they're all of age, we'll rehome them. And so that was the plan. So one night, I felt so bad because it took me so long to gain her trust. And this night, I was sitting next to her on the deck, and she was letting me pet her very slowly. I mean, I had to move very slowly in order to pet her. But she was letting me pet her. And then Tyson was waiting on the inside of the door for my cue. And when she was not fully paying attention, I just reached down, and as quick as I could, I just grabbed her and I yelled, "Now!" And he swung the door open, and I ran into the house carrying her. And as soon as I got in the house, I just like put her down right away because I didn't want her to rip my arms off. And she jumped on top of our closet and hid there and wouldn't come out. But anyway, I felt terrible because I knew that I had broke her trust, and it took me so long to gain her trust. Now, this is a cat who we think had never seen the inside of anything before. She had never even been inside, so this was completely alien to her. And she was hiding on top of the closet and wouldn't let us near her, and every time one of us would go toward the door to leave, she would, you know, try to get out. Like she would, I shouldn't say try to get out, but she'd be like looking down. You could tell she was getting ready to bolt. And so we knew that wasn't a great permanent solution for her to just stay on top of our closet till she gave birth. This is in our mudroom, by the way, so right next to the outside door. So Tyson grabbed some oven mittens and grabbed her from above the closet. I mean, we had to be careful because we knew she was pregnant, and she was very pregnant. But anyway, he grabbed some oven mittens and grabbed her and ran through the house with her to our bedroom. But here's the thing, it was in that moment that I knew I was never, ever, ever gonna rehome her, because she was terrified. I mean, absolutely terrified. And most cats, when they're terrified, they will lash out. They will hiss, they will bite, they will snarl, growl. She just froze. She just absolutely froze in his hands while he was carrying the oven mittens. She just froze. She was terrified to move. And he managed to run all the way to the bedroom, put her down, come back out, shut the door, and she stayed in there and didn't try to bite him, didn't try to scratch him, didn't growl, nothing. And I knew then that we were not ever rehoming her. Any cat that in its most terrified moments doesn't lash out is a keeper. So anyway, so we kept her. And then so that's Miss Kitty, and her name is Miss Kitty because she didn't have a name. So I was just, and I had no intentions of keeping her, so I wasn't about to name her. So when I was feeding her outside, I would just like be like, "Oh, hello, Miss Kitty," because I knew she was a girl and she was a cat. So I just called her Miss Kitty. And once we decided to keep her, we just decided to keep Miss Kitty, because that was just the name that I had been calling her that entire time, and she answered to it. So anyway, that's how we ended up with Miss Kitty. It took a long time to gain her trust fully. Well, not a long time. For me, only a couple weeks. Like, actually, maybe a week. Everyone else, long time, but it didn't take her long to be okay with me. Once she realized that I wasn't going to hurt her, and I was still going to feed her every day, and I still sat and talked with her. I would sit on my bedroom floor because she'd be hiding under my bed. And I'd sit on the bedroom floor and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk to her. just to help her get used to me. And sometimes when I'd be laying in bed at night, I'd hear her sneak out to go to the dish to get something to eat, and I'd just talk gently to her and then go to sleep. And then she just, I guess eventually she warmed up to me. Anyway, we ended up keeping one of her kittens, and that would be Smokey. And then we rehomed all the rest of the kittens. She ended up having 6 kittens. So we ended up rehoming the other 6, but we rehomed them under the condition that they fix them. And one of the people who we rehomed them to didn't fix the cat, and the cat got pregnant. So this was, we called her Missy. The new owner calls her Princess. But anyway, she got pregnant. And when I found out she got pregnant, I was very upset at first, because I was very clear that I wanted them fixed. I don't want to be responsible for a bunch of homeless cats. So, but after I said my piece about that, I said, but now that the damage is done, I want one of the kittens, because this is Miss Kitty's grandchild. So I want one. So I asked her for a female. So she sent me some pictures of the females that she had, and I chose a black and white one and named it Minnie Mouse. And then we got it home, and we had it for like 2 days, and I hadn't really taken a really good look at it physically, but then I started noticing that it had an issue with its bum. It had a distended anus because it had been fed adult cat food instead of kitten cat food, so it couldn't digest it properly. So we had to take it to the vet for that. But before that, when I was inspecting its little bum, I went, this is not a female. This is a male. So Minnie Mouse became Mickey Mouse. So anyway, I was given the option to send him back and get a female, but I was like, no. I mean, he's been here now for a couple of days. We love him. We're not sending him back. So we just kept him, and he is our little Mickey. So we have the grandmother, her daughter, Smokey, and her grandson, Mickey. And they are all fixed. Yeah, so that is my pet stories. So we have 3 cats. And that's the story of my cats. For everybody who always asks us about our cats, there you go. That's the story of our cats. I have to run these through the laminator again. Okay, so where am I? Oh, what makes you laugh? Oh my. Lots of stuff. That's a very general question. There's a lot of stuff makes me laugh. My kids make me laugh, specifically Abby, more than anybody. Yeah, I guess my kids probably more than anything. And my cats. I laugh a lot at cats. And turkeys. Turkeys make me laugh. Happiest memory. Oh my. Happiest memory. I could say childbirth, but everybody says that. And honestly, I think most people, when they say childbirth is their happiest memory, they're lying. Because, I mean, you love your kids, there's no doubt, but having a baby, never mind, forget all the pain and everything, just emotionally, it's a very overwhelming moment. So, I wouldn't say that. I think, honestly, I think it was watching the fireworks at Disney. Yeah, at Magic Kingdom, watching the fireworks and realizing, because I took Andrew to Disney after my divorce was final, thinking that all kids want to go to Disney. I didn't even realize that I wanted to go to Disney. I didn't realize, I knew when I was a little kid that I wanted to go to Disney, but I didn't really have a desire as an adult to go. And then I was sitting in front of the castle, and they were doing the fireworks, and they started playing the song When You Wish Upon a Star. And it was like in that moment, I rushed back, like my mind rushed back to when I was a child, sitting in front of the TV on Sundays, because on Sunday they always played Disney movies every Sunday. We only had 3 channels, and one of the channels played a Disney movie every Sunday. And I just remember sitting there seeing the castle, and the When You Wish Upon a Star theme song would come on, and I'd always think how cool it would be to go there, and that someday I wanted to go there. And then somehow growing up, I just forgot that that was something I ever wanted to do as a child. And those memories as a child came flooding back to me when I was sitting in front of the castle, watching the fireworks, and When You Wish Upon a Star came on, and I started crying. Like, as soon as those memories came flooding back, I just started bawling. And I remember a little while later, I was sitting on the shuttle bus. We were heading back to our hotel, and my son said, "I can't believe you cried. I'm going to run these through the laminator before I cut this way, because I want to make sure that seal is really good." My good laminator died yesterday, so now I'm using my not so great one. Anyway, so that would be my happiest memory. And then my favorite color, purple, I guess, would be my favorite color. That it's kind of like food. It changes. It used to be green. For years and years and years it was green. And now, for some reason, I'm kind of partial to purple. So I would say purple is my favorite at the moment. And that is the end of my 30 questions, which is perfect because that happened just as I finished what I can cut of these without laminating them. And I didn't do bad because so far I only have to redo one of those envelopes, and that's really good for me. Usually there's 5 or 6 if I'm doing this many. Anyway, so that is all. Now no one tagged me in this. This was just something that I saw someone doing months ago, and then it kind of fizzled out before it went around too much. So I'm going to tag, who am I going to tag? Okay, I'm going to tag Bella at Saving Made Simple. And I hope when I hashtag, I know she'll watch this anyway, but I hope when I hashtag it actually notifies the person so that they do it. So I'm going to tag Bella, and I'm going to tag Zoe at the Canny Tally. We all know who Zoe is. And who else am I going to tag? Oh, you know what? I'm going to tag Charlene, Coffee and Cash. I'll put it on the screen. Charlene. She's Cash and Coffee, or Coffee and Cash Budgets, or Cash and Coffee Budgets. She's Australian. But anyway, yes, that's who I'm going to tag. Zoe from the Canny Tally. Bella from Saving Made Simple. And Charlene from Cash and Coffee Budgets. All right? And you have to do this. You don't have a choice. You have to do it, because lots of people get tagged and they don't do it. So you have to do this. And then you have to tag 3 other people and make them do it, so that we have a bunch of videos in the community to put out there and watch. All right? Okay. Anyway, if you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe. And I will be back for another video sometime this week. Bye, everybody.